Did you know there are tools that will book lightning lanes for you? Here's a couple that we have tried and how they work. Hi, I'm Shannon from WDW and I wanted to talk to you today about tools that you can use to book lightning lanes for you. So you may have heard about these, but if not, I'm going to go through those today. I know a lot of people have heard of dining alert tools, like Mouse Dining, Mouse Watcher, etc., that you can use to help you snag dining reservations. And nowadays, it's also activities. It's not just dining. And I think in my mind, this is kind of an issue that Disney has created where things are so difficult and can sometimes things don't open when they're supposed to, and sometimes there's just a lot of competition. So you have to sometimes have tools, and that's why people create the tools so that they can help solve a problem. So whether it's for dining and getting alerts, or in this case, lighting lanes, I am happy to test them out and use them. And at this point, I can't imagine doing Disney World without them, to be honest. So the first one that we ever tried and we still use is called Standby Skipper. And the way that it works is that it's an app, and before your trip, you buy the service, and it's really affordable. You can have a lot of people in your group, and you can pay like a weekly rate. It's a really nominal fee. And once you purchase it and add them as a friend to be able to book lightning lanes for you, then you can set it up in the app and tell it what you want them to snag next. So for instance, if we're park hopping and we are wanting to start at Animal Kingdom and go to Epcot, we can tap in first lightning lane to Animal Kingdom and then have it searching for our Epcot lightning lane. This is an actual thing that we have done before, where we had lightning lanes booked for the morning at Animal Kingdom, but by the time we got to Epcot in the afternoon, we had 3 headliners stacked ready for us because Standby Skipper had been searching for them and booking it. So we really, really love using Standby Skipper and have been doing it for a long time. I've even interviewed the creator on my podcast, and there are always lots of questions that are directed to me because I use it. And those are like about security and all those kind of stuff. And I'm not concerned about that at all. I know that they have taken precautions and that it's not, if Disney wanted to shut it down, they could, but they do not. So it works very well, and we are happy to use it almost every trip. At least our trips that are ride focused, we definitely do. Another tool recently came out, and people asked us over and over again to test it, and that is called Weight Magic. And this is a tool that is from the website Thrill Data. Thrill Data is very, very useful in gathering data, hence the name, about rides and wait times and things like that. And we reference them and credit them all the time in our research and our like touring plans and lighting lane advice and all that kind of stuff. But they have created this tool called Weight Magic, and it also is a lightning lane booking tool. However, it works different than Standby Skipper in that it is not an app, and it can book things before your trip, not just during your trip, and it can modify. So to me, both of these tools are very useful, and right now they're useful for very different reasons. So on our recent trip, I decided to use Weight Magic. I had had some issues when I went to book lightning lanes because as an annual pass holder, I have to have a park pass reservation every time I go into a park, and I forgot to make them. So when I went to make lightning lanes, they weren't at the times that I wanted because they were 2 o'clock or later, and I was going for the morning. So I went ahead and booked the lightning lanes that I could, and then I went into Weight Magic and I said, I would really like to modify all these lightning lanes to as early as possible. And so within Weight Magic on their website, they're not an app. You can do it in a browser, ideally on a computer, because on the phone it's a little bit harder. And you can go in and say, I have this lightning lane and I would like you to continuously keep looking for earlier times. And so that's literally what I did. I just had it set up. So by the time we got to Disney World, like 6 days later or whatever, most of our lightning lanes had been changed to the morning, and so we could do the touring that we had wanted to do. So in my mind, as of right now, with the functionality they both offer, Standby Skipper is great during your trip to look for lightning lanes, that the ones that you want next. And it's really handy because you're already on your phone to have the app and it can continuously search. Weight Magic, in my mind, is better for modifying and for doing things before your trip. You could even have it book your lightning lanes for you when it opens up. So that, to me, they're both very, very valuable, and I find myself wanting to use them both on our next trip. So hopefully that is helpful if you've been debating using a tool or not using a tool. They can't give you access to anything that you don't have access to. A lot of people ask this, like, can it get me more lightning lanes than I can book? No, it's just automating what you can do manually, and it means less time on your phone, which I think is a huge win because just doing this your whole trip doesn't seem super fun. And personally, if I'm in the middle of a conversation while I'm waiting, somewhere in the park, I don't really want to have to get my phone out and think about the next booking. So it's helpful. I call it having an extra set of hands. That's what it feels like to me. And so I find it very helpful, especially if you're the only one in your group that knows how to book lightning lanes. But feel free to ask any questions if you have them. And if these tools offer new features or change in any way, I'll do an updated video all about it. Thanks for joining.